I've been watching you for a while, girl, and I can tell you've been watching me too. So after all this time watching each other, girl, there's only one thing left for us to do. When we gon' fuck? When we gon' fuck? Put that ass up. It's time to fuck. We don't gotta do nothing that you don't wanna do. Honestly, I could just go home and jerk off. Let me know, let me know, let me know if you're feeling frisky, girl. I could get the both of us off, and you multiple times more than me. So when we gon' fuck? Yeah, when we gon' fuck? Put that ass up. When we gon' fuck? Your eye like a million stars in the sky, and your lips look so juicy and right. I just can't get my mind off you, girl. And your hand, you can put both down my pants, or instead we could just dance. Whatever you want, I don't give a fuck, girl. I don't give a fuck, girl. But when we gon' fuck? When we gon' fuck? Put that ass up. It's time to fuck.
Good morning. Oh, hi. Gonna be honest with y'all. We might be here for a while. And, you know, I would sit here and, like, be all graduals and have a good time with it. But, you know, it might be one of them ones. It might be one of them ones. And, you know, I necessarily... there's a little bit of care going into this one, but you know. What's the lighting for this one? How do we want to do this? We want to go red? I think we should go red. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity for us to go red. I think red I think red might be the way we go with this one. Truthfully, genuinely. Leon's food is up. I don't know what you referred to from that one, buddy. Get snacks prep. That's for you. That's for you. You know what I'm saying? That's for you. That's not for me. But hi, how are you all? How are you guys doing? This is not a town hall meeting. No, you don't get to dictate when the town hall meetings happen. I do. I make the town hall meetings. Sit there. Red is a bit repetitive at this point. Okay, and ooh. So no, this is not a town hall meeting. You do not dictate town hall meetings. Don't make me turn this shit on you. I can turn this shit on you easy. Simple. Slide work. Now, this would be something where I make you motherfuckers pick. And I make you motherfuckers decide which one's gonna be first. But not even gonna bother with that. I'm not bothering with that. I just can't. I can't be bothered with it. I don't know if y'all heard my knuckles crack just now, but I bet you look good in the fedora. That is sex work talk, and I will not participate in it. You do not get to fantasize about this. The hell? What's wrong with you? Be better than what you are. Hey, I got this. Hold on. Before we start, since you see, based off the thumbnail, what it is we talking about. Hold on. Something must get off my chest. Because something seems just to be a little bit off. Something is a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? Because, there was a moment in time where I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of flack for these colors, for this team. Because, a 70-point game, a team full of Dolphins ran 70 on us, and everybody was like, oh, we garbage. I was one of the people. We garbage. We might as well just prep for the first round draft pick. That 70-point game woke us up, though. That 70-point game got us going. And look at us. On 6 or 5? We on a winning streak. Don't matter. We on a winning streak. And the Bills are on a losing streak. Where's Chris?
New donation from Curum the Frozen.
Chris has been MI-motherfucking-A. Where is he? The Bills are a better team. The Bills can't win in overtime. The Bills can't win in overtime. They did all that bitching and moaning and chirping and groaning, and they can't win in overtime. They the ones that changed the rules. It's just like the Saints. They were the ones that changed the rules so you can get some replays on some flags. Damn near every flag is on them. I really don't care about football. Well, you gon' care about it today. Because outside of me cheering on, my team, we getting a little better. I still have no hope. Because if you watch the games in full like I do, you will see that this team can't win in dominant fashion. We win because the other team just so happens to run out of gas before they have enough time to just run us up. That's what happens. Every time. Look at those games. They're not dominant performances. They're not. I feel like CJ Stroud is going to run us when we play the Texans. It's ridiculous. But it is ridiculous. But I saw this and I just had to, pat myself on the back. The NFL needs to speak out against the Kansas City Chiefs fan in blackface and native headdress. Oh my God, what are you doing? There is nobody on that team who warrants this type of disrespect. How could you? You are a young adolescent youth in the year 2023. This means everybody was right. Racism is taught. Racism is perpetuated. Racism is indoctrinated into these children. How could you possibly do this, you youngster? I must read this article from Deadline. The NFL needs to speak out against the Kansas City Chiefs fan in blackface and a native headdress. It takes a lot to disrespect two groups of people at once. But on Sunday afternoon in Las Vegas, a Kansas City Chiefs fan found a way to hate black people and Native Americans at the same time. It was as if John Gruden's emails had come to life. The image of a Chiefs fan in blackface wearing a native headdress during a road game leads so many unanswered questions. Why did the camera person give this fan the attention? I don't know. It's a child in Chiefs uniform paraphernalia making sure that they are represented in Las Vegas as a fan of the Chiefs with a Travis Kelce jersey on. He should have had a Taylor Swift jersey on because, you know, Taylor Swift made Travis Kelce into who he is today. Why did the producer allow the camera angle to be aired at all? Is that fan a kid, teenager, or young child? Despite their age, who taught that person that that way of wearing was appropriate? The answers to all of those questions led back to the NFL. While it isn't the league's responsibility to stop racism and hate from being taught in the home, they are a league that relentlessly has participated in prejudice. If the NFL had outlawed the chop at the Chiefs game and had been more aggressive in changing the team's name, then we wouldn't be here. There's no place for a franchise to be called the Chiefs in a league that's already eradicated Redskins. There's no pretty way to mascot people. Amanda Blackhorse, great name, a Native American activist and organizer of the pregame protest rally, told USA Today earlier this year. This is what happens when you ban books, stand against critical race theory, and try to erase centuries of hate. You give future generations the ammunition they need to evolve and recreate the racism better than before. We are committed to inspire change and the social justice work that inspires change for the long term. Anna Isaacson, great name, the NFL Senior Vice President of Social Responsibility, told the Associated Press back in 2021 this was a time when the league was beginning to allow players to wear decals on their helmets that read "Stop Hate, Black Lives Matter, Inspire Change," and say their stories as part of the NFL's social justice initiatives. Notice how it's usually referred to as social justice and not racial justice, as a way to soften the hate. It's an orchestrated way to distract you from the core issue. However, the ultimate insult from the league can be seen during each game as end racism, and "it takes all of us" are sketched into the end zones. Do you know how big your balls have to be to say that racism should be ended when you have a racist past like the NFL? It is as if Jim Trotter, Brian Flores aren't actively suing them for alleged racism right now, as the attorneys general in New York and California are also investigating them for similar allegations. The idea that it takes all of humanity to end racism is not only asinine, but insulting and infuriating. By doing that, you're taking away the responsibility and necessity of accountability from the ones who created it and are actively participating in it. It is also cruel to expect the oppressed to assist their oppressors in the termination of their own oppression. And if you're wondering if the NFL is delusional enough to believe that their end zone slogans are making a difference, you're correct. You are indeed delusional, thinking words in the end zone are doing anything, especially when white people score touchdowns by running the ball or throwing it to another white guy in the end zone. Racism will never be defeated like that. The league is beyond sensitive when it comes to their message. In the preseason, there was a rumor floating around that "play football" would be the new motto etched onto the field. When Deadspin contacted the league about it, we received a prompt response, 12 minutes, saying otherwise. There has been no change from previous years. Beginning with the regular season, clubs will have the end zone stencils featuring "It Takes All of Us" and "End Racism," wrote Brian McCarthy, the league's vice president of communications, to Deadspin in an email exchange. Play football was featured for preseason as part of the league initiative. As of now, the league hasn't released a statement on what took place in the stands in Las Vegas on Sunday. That photo of a fan floating around on the internet is beyond a bad look for the league, while simultaneously being what should be expected from the NFL. The NFL stands with the black community, the players, the clubs, the fans. The NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell once said, "Confronting systemic racism with tangible and productive steps is absolutely essential. We will not relent in our work and will redouble our efforts to be catalysts for the urgent and sustainable change that our society and communities also desperately need." 3 years after Goodell made that comment, the league's worse off than it was when the commissioner was scrambling during America's racial awakening in 2020. He apologized to Colin Kaepernick, someone who akin to all of these individuals who play in the NFL as people who are a part of some slave trade, even the white people, because I clearly thought that they had supremacy.
Also, stop hiring black people to make Mexican food. Would you trust a white person to make you Chinese food?
Okay. Nothing has, and after what we saw on Sunday, it feels like nothing ever will. And children, I agree. The discrimination, the hatred, the bigotry, oh, it upsets my poor, fragile black soul, except for one iggling little thing, is that if you're someone who has a brain, you know that this is not a form of blackface at a football game. This is something many individuals who are over dramatic with their support of their football team does. And one side of their face will be black and the other will be red. You see what I mean when I say some of these people are really bored and they're just making all these grandiose speeches out of thin air because they have nothing better to do. You decide to spend dedicated time crafting an article being mad at what looks to be a potential 11 to 14-year-old supporting his favorite football team in his own state because he can't seemingly go to Kansas City every weekend. He has to wait for them to show up in Las Vegas. Boo plus who equals boo-hoo. And you could maybe have an issue with the Indian garb, but that's up to the Indians to decide. I take issue with a guy who wants to speak for everybody, making it seem as if we should be mad at this because, you know, this one incident is the only one that happens in the NFL ever. It's not like any other fucking sports team has fans that do this shit that aren't black, who put on this makeup. Hell, you got black people who overly dramatize putting on makeup because they want to look like the guy who's very enthralled with their football team. And I believe the only people who should be criticized for supporting their team are the fans of the New Orleans Saints, because you people are delusional. You thought Derek Carr would save you. You thought a crab stealer like Famous Jameis would help you. I don't know what Michael Thomas has been doing with his daily life, but every time he shows up, he's ready to leave again. You all should be chastised. You all should be criticized, but that's besides the point. Can you please find something better to do? And what makes it worse, this guy got criticized for this. And he's fighting it to the death because instead of actually acknowledging, hey, you're a bonehead who's really desperate for somebody to acknowledge your moronic nonsense, you're just going around saying, for the idiots in my mentions who are treating this as some harmless act because the other side of his face was painted red. I could make the argument that it makes it even worse. Y'all are the ones who hate Mexicans but wear sombreros on Cinco. First of all, yes, I do wear a sombrero. You gotta roll your R's with it. When it's Cinco de Mayo, I wear a sombrero when it's not Cinco de Mayo. Why? Because I like to enjoy what it's like being a part of the Mexican culture. I go and I have me some fun time. We hang out, we vibe. That's what culture and respecting it is all about. Joining in, having a good time, not being disrespectful, just coming in. But you think peace weirdos who exist only to piss everybody off because you are bored and you're mad that everybody else is getting along. So you got to stand up and say, I am the one who will be the one to save us all, because how dare any of you share culture because it's cultural appropriation. No, you're just bored because you have nothing else to fucking do. You are drastically wrong in the fact that it's been a significant number of hours and this shit is still up and you standing by it proves racism can only exist if stupid people make mountains out of molehills and if people who are even dumber believe them. Do we have examples of people being really hateful to different groups of people? Yes! Let's focus on that instead of getting mad at a fucking sports fan for putting on some fucking makeup. Please be better than that. Am I crazy? Am I out of line here? How? How? There was me thinking Leon was going shirtless. Get in the fucking shower immediately. Ungodly. Unethical. And yes, that's going on the main channel. Oh! How y'all doing? I threw my jersey. What the fuck? I threw my jersey. It's inside out. How did I do this? Oh, their activism is wasted on this. Right. Like what? got these plebeians who say racism doesn't exist. Yes, it does. It most certainly does. Like, it most certainly does. You got some real racist people out there in this world. They exist. But for the love of God, go focus on that. Y'all got a better chance arguing that a white cop shot a black dude on purpose than this. Like, come on. Like, come on. I gotta see. Has he updated? Has he said anything? This is from January. This is 4 minutes ago. Breaking news, Gremlin. This is about Deion Sanders, Duke, Texas A&M, Coach K, Bill Belichick. This is the tweet. Okay, let's scroll. Let's keep scrolling. There's nothing. What is this?
Crazy, G. That is wild. And you know, I like we were talking about this before. I feel like the parent had to be like, let's roll the kid out and see what happens. You know, maybe if he can get away with it, I could try it next. They're not gonna jump a fucking child, are they?
You're saying his dad is soft launching the blackface?
Right. My whole shit is
Oh my God. See, I knew I wasn't crazy. This motherfucker's bored. Y'all bored. It's cool if y'all bored, but just say y'all bored. Admit you're bored. It wouldn't be this. Y'all are chastising a child. If there's any, like, please find something. Jesus. Oh, Christ. It's been 22 minutes. That was 22 minutes. Honestly, we might not be here for that long. I truly thought we were going to be here for a while. We might not be. We might not be. Comb your beard? No. Shit. Whoever added fact checkers needs a raise. See, the thing about the community notes, some people, they like the community notes concept, but some people don't like it because when they spew all their weird little fixations and lies, they get mad that they're corrected. I done seen a couple of truth tellers then get exposed by a fucking community note. Let's go watch anime instead of this nonsense. Not yet. I'm not done. Leon needs a flat top? No. I'm not done. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go just yet. I have one more bridge. I want to say this right off the bat because there's a collection of people who like to get mad at me a few times when I talk about something that happened maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I make mention that it's 5 or 6 years old because I say, remember back when, remember this happened, remember how that played out. That's the intention, to bring up something that I didn't speak about from years ago, because I hold the conspiracy theory that if I was doing YouTube seriously around 2014, 15, 16, I'd have about 2 million subs. And I'm well on my way to getting that. Subscribe to the channel. But I just saw this and it just tickled my funny bone. Now, keep in mind, this was tweeted by Vice November 24th, 2023, and it's 100 ways white people can make life less frustrating for people of color. And as you all know, apparently me talking about how there are black people who do stupid things somehow turns me into a raccoon. I never understood that geographical logic, but I'm here to understand because I must revert back to being a strong, independent black man in the year 2023. But the problem is, this article is from 5 years ago. So, when you lesser mammals, you plebeians, you marsupials go on your tirade about how, why are you talking about this? Keep in mind, Vice was the one that let you know about this, ergo me, so I'm bringing it back around to you, this year instead of 5 years ago. So, we're going to be here for a while because I'm going through each of the 100 ways white people can make life less frustrating for the people of color. As someone with a very low tolerance for the racist bullshit, I've managed to surround myself with white people who are cognizant of their privilege and strive to make the world a less terrifying and frustrating place for people of color. This means that I often deal with said white people asking me what they can actually do to affect change. So here, anxious allies of the world, are 100 simple ways to be the change. It's not clearly comprehensive, I bet it's not, but it's somewhere to start. Go forth and disrupt our harmful racial paradigm. Number one, just because you can't see racism around you doesn't mean it's not happening. Trust people of color's assessment of the situation because obviously no person of color is capable of lying to you about a racist situation. And if just so happens that they are lying, you are a bad person for being white and calling it out because how dare you? Because black people never tell any lies. Remember the black woman who made a claim saying that she was drugged, but video evidence shows that she just got drunk at a bar, plastered, and was passed out on some concrete because you shouldn't be drinking that much and was an embarrassment to her community. I'm certain many of you remember that. Don't assume that all people of color share the same views. We are not a monolith. I cannot tell because there's this weird concept for many individuals who happen to be black that get mad at other black people who don't go along with the same levels of groupthink. And that's everywhere. Whether if you think black people are the perpetual victims until they're dead, or if you think black people should pull their nuts up by the bootstraps. If you say something opposite of other people, you will have some individuals who are like-minded that get very upset because they live in a bubble and they don't believe any experience outside of their own is something realistic. Don't assume or guess people's races. This is not a fun game for us. It's fun when it comes time to guess a school shooter. If someone tells you they're from Uganda, don't say, I went to Nigeria once. Just please, they're trying to create conversation. Yes, it's annoying, but they don't know how to really have communication skills because they spent a year sitting inside their house. They're bored and they don't know how to approach you. Related, don't refer to Africa as a country. It's a continent and it's wildly varied. Yes, take a moment. Understandable. Oh, and rest assured that literally no person of color ever wants you to get back from holiday, show off your tan, and excitedly exclaim, look, I'm almost as dark as you. Cease and desist. Well, that is annoying. Don't assume that a person of color knows everything about their country of heritage. You know everything there is to know about America, Germany, Sweden. That's what I thought. Honestly, so far, we're only on number 7. This seems like something that could be applied to everybody, but general assumption. Don't assume we can run if we're black, do math if we're Asian, have drinking problems if we're indigenous. Seems like, again, something that anybody ends up doing. Regard us as autonomous, unique individuals, not as representatives of our race. Don't make embarrassing jokes to try to be down with people of color. We'll laugh at you, not with you. Because you can never be funny around black people. Can't make a joke because we're going to laugh at you because your joke is that damn corny. Don't rinse our culturally specific memes. They're ours. Go enjoy that weird one with the plums. Oh, because memes is online blackface, I guess. If you're at my house party, don't turn off The Weeknd to put on Arctic Monkeys. Okay, this one is very specific, but it happened to me once and I'm not over it. The audacity. This is someone traumatized, and they were so traumatized that they had to make an article about it. So I might...
Also, stop hiring black people to make Mexican food. Would you trust a white person to make you Chinese food?
I'm not gonna lie, that might be cultural appropriation. This might be one person coming up with anything and hoping it sticks for everybody. Avoid phrases like, but I have a black friend, I can't be racist. You know that's BS, as we all do. Hey, guess what? If you have a black friend, does that excuse you from being racist? No, but let's not act as if that's not a coherent piece of response to a badgering idiot who's just saying you're racist because you're white. If I were white, would say that out loud just to piss you off. When you endlessly complain about how terrible white people are, you are being that terrible white person. Honestly, I agree, because no one likes a white savior. You know what? I'm starting to agree with this list. Don't say shit like, then that is directly on this article. Don't say shit like, I know what it's like to be a person of color. I'm a ginger. Hang on. That's a group. And depending on who you ask, a marginalized group. So, maybe, but otherwise not. Don't question someone's blackness if they're light-skinned. It's not your place. Other black people can make sure that light-skinned black people are cognizant of their privilege. So, the little mixed kids, the light-skins, y'all, you're still in trouble. You're still in a little bit of trouble, but it's only the dark skins that can criticize you. Those white people, they got to stay in their white lane. Never try and tell a person of color what is or isn't racist. I'm sorry, but if you hearken back to when we were talking about the black guy who wrote an article about a white guy being in blackface, you would want to actually critique somebody who thinks some things are racist, because sometimes the black people get that wrong and, they're not really good at depicting what is and what isn't racist. Most of the time, their feelings are just hurt. When you find instances of racist bullshit online, please don't send it to us. We know racism exists. Thanks. Well, I could agree with that. Some people do like to just send negativity to other people. And sometimes it's like, whoa, cool out, buddy. We don't need all this right now. Read something already written about it rather than coming to your friends, acquaintances of color looking for hot takes on anything and everything appropriative a Kardashian or Miley Cyrus does. We don't want to think about this 24/7. I can't tell because Black Twitter is seemingly invested in everything Kanye West raps about and everything Ice Spice is doing, along with, although this one is not by choice, everything regarding Will Smith and Jada Smith. You people know I'm not wrong about that. Understand that some days are even more mentally exhausting for people of color thanks to the news cycle. Try not to badger us for our opinions on the latest atrocity that has occurred. Leave us to grieve. I don't know about that one because you seemingly always want to open your mouth about something, even at the same time not wanting to speak about it any further because, it's so negative and so toxic and we always have to see it. Well, if you turn off your phone, you wouldn't have to see it, you know what I'm saying? If you just, cool out just a little bit, you wouldn't have to see it as much. Just saying. And if somebody brings it up, you could just be like, whoa, calm it down, buddy. And leaving you to grieve, listen, I know the old saying is skin folk, kinfolk, and some skin folk ain't your kinfolk, but a lot of these examples that you see on Twitter, there's a little bit more to it than that. And there's a little bit more nuance, and there's more than just what you see based on what CNN wants to give you, or Fox News, or an MSNBC. Leaving you to grieve is hilarious, considering a lot of shit you don't even see. A lot of shit more dramatic than what a mainstream would give you. But, choices be your choice. But when we do have something to say about it, listen, I agree, because you'll get some of the dumbest things on planet Earth. Some of them funny, some of them informative. But there will be people who say egregiously wrong things. And if you criticize them, how dare you? Share articles relating to everyday experiences of race and racism written by people of color. For example, last one we talked about, the guy who dare say that a child is committing blackface for going to a football game. But don't be that person who is weird and sociophantic. Is that the word? But don't be that person who is weird and sociopathic and loves to demonstrate their wokeness constantly to the people of color around them. Be thoughtful. No one likes a white savior. Read books by people of color. I recommend Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde, great name, and The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, great name, and literally everything that Juanto Diaz writes for great insights into blackness. Watch shows that are created by people of color, i.e. Atlanta or Insecure. Seriously, if you haven't seen Atlanta, you need to watch it now, because you know what? In a world where people only want to complain about Disney, Marvel, and that weird show with the lightsabers, you know, it's important that you watch more shows. That way, you just don't constantly fixate on individuals and companies who you claim don't care about you, but you spend time investing in the things that they say and they do and they produce, just so you can turn right back around and say, they don't fucking care about us. Have a critical eye when watching TV and movies. How are they portraying people of color and why? What purpose does this serve? And you know what? I agree, and I'll only agree if black people agree to stop promoting and popularizing all these movies that come out during February. Why is somebody cutting grass near my door? Can y'all hear that? Because it bugs the fuck out of me. It bugs the ever-loving fuck out of me. I'm just doing the lawn, sir. Fuck you. They're listening to you. What a great way to go, might I say. It's right by the window, too. Like, it's just right by the window. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. I don't like it. How dare you people come cut grass? Oh, shit. How dare you people? It's quite audible. Did you have to fucking say it like you're a librarian? Did you have to say it like you're a librarian? No, it's quite audible. Did we ask for that? Did we ask for you to come in like a fucking librarian and just be like, whoa? Oh, I don't know if I can keep reading. Yeah. You lucky I don't have mods in here. I'd get them to time you out. You sick fuck. You sick fuck. No one likes a reader. None of us like a reader. PG! Hi, PG. Hi, PG. Speaking of a mod, PG won't fucking do anything. PG will fucking sit there and be like, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Yeah. I need a dedicated mod. I don't trust any of you. Ugh. Why are you spamming the ass emoji? You fucking cretin. I'm waiting for this shit to get out of my ear so I can keep reading. I'm just casually waiting for it to get out of my ear. I'm a mod on your other channel? That's crazy. That's sickening. That's actually sickening. Why do I have you as a mod on the other channel? They're peaches? No, they're asses. Stop it. Stop it. They're asses. They're asses. Man, it's a shame. Such a shame. All right. Because I'm amazing. You're something. But I don't think amazing is the right word. You're problematic. You're problematic. I just want you to know that. And you know why. And if you antagonize me, I'll tell everyone why. Fuck it. Gaming Witch sent me terrible imagery. Terrible imagery. It scarred me. What's the vagina emoji? I'm not really certain, but I'm sure someone will figure out a way of it. You know what I'm saying? You're reading from a racist list that breaks up people based on skin color, and you've approved of several of their ideas. You don't think that's a problem? No one likes a white savior. Hey, Hey. No one likes a white savior. No one likes a white savior. We're gonna be honest with ourselves here for a minute, buddy. We're not gonna sit here and ignore what we are, buddy. No one likes a white savior. Why are you all trying to find a way to speak about the vagina via emojis? AI the Reaper, why? 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 I like how you react to the chat. Smaller streams are really more fun to watch. Yes, because this is a cool little area where you could just vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's Al the Reaper. It's AI the Reaper. You don't get to change your name here. You don't get to change your name here.
If you don't kill yourself.
Where did I
New
stop?
donation from
I will
100
kick your
ways
ass.
I confuse white saviors with white people.
It's like, why? Why do y'all do that? Why do y'all do that? Why do y'all do that? Thought that was funny? Thought that was cool? Thought that was engaging? Thought you saved the world with that? Thought you was a hero that day? Is that great for you? That tickle your funny bone? Leon broke for a second. That's wild. Oh. Shall we keep going? Where did I stop? Where did I stop? Oh, art gallery. Of a JJ emote is fucking wild. You could just say vagina. If you go to an art gallery, notice how many works are by people of color. If it's lacking, make some noise. Send an email. Query the curator. White people shouldn't have a monopoly on what can be considered art. I will argue that as someone who has been to a few museums of art over the past number of years, I can't tell because I don't ask. I just go look at the art and I'm like, ooh, that probably doesn't belong in here, and I don't know how they can consider that art. If a character you assume was white in a book is portrayed by an actor of color in a movie, embrace it. Whiteness is not the default. I mean, sure, but then you'll have all these people whining about what is diversity and how it's destroying movies and whatnot, and I couldn't tell because it's a book. But when you have these characters who are race swapped, I will argue it's absolutely pointless because I could not care about a fictional fish and how she wants to get digged down by a guy who's above water, but I could see where the frustration comes from. Support plays written by and acted in by people of color. The world of theater is overwhelmingly white. That is true, but Black people should not be having theater nights where they're kicking out or banning white people from showing up. That is not productive and creates more of a divide. I think we can all agree. Refuse to go to club nights or drag shows or burlesque nights that use culturally appropriative acts. I have no idea what could we describe as a culturally appropriative act at a club or a drag show, but seems a little bit humorous. If you have kids, buy them dolls of color and books with characters of color. What about representation? Little Susie is white. Is she going to see herself in a black girl who is a fake porcelain doll that she throws around all the time? I don't think so. Or you could just let the child play with shit. You know? Think that's a good option. Support crowdfunding campaigns for cultural products created by people of color if you can. Donate money to grassroots movements around you that are run by and support people of color. But make sure they're not a scam because could be. Support small businesses owned by people of color. If what they're selling is something you need and authentic, or you'll have a pink sauce situation where a person of color turns out to be an asshole who is not financially responsible. If you are an upper or middle class, try to avoid moving into an area that has historically been populated by low-income people of color. Gentrification tears communities apart. I don't know, how could someone who is upper or middle class know that they're moving to a low-income area housed by a bunch of black people? Because it's not really something that most people, or I'm going to speak for myself, is really thinking about. When I'm in the process of moving, is thinking about a fucking place to stay that is affordable and wouldn't cost me an arm and a leg. But that's just me. Don't assume people of color can't speak English. That's a weird one. But also, be patient if our English isn't perfect. Are you bi, tri, or multilingual? Probably not. It's hard. It is. But again, so far, we're up to 37. And while I've agreed slightly, I still hold the belief that this could be applied to everybody and not just the white people and how they act around the people of color. In general, just don't assume we want to be white or want to assimilate and don't pressure us to do so. I don't think we can get there by having a conversation of if you speak good English or not. I don't think assimilation can really start at that process, but recognize that you can't assume someone's religion based on how they look. Not all South Asians and Middle Eastern people are Muslim. Not all black people are Christian. Not all East Asian people are Buddhist. You get the idea. Okay, again, still, this could be applied to everybody. Remember that not all people of color are straight. Okay, kind of getting into some weird territory now. Remember that people of color are not inherently more homophobic than white people. I don't know, because there's a 3 and also 6-letter word a lot of black people like to use, although they use it in private because they like to mask all that perfectness with a little bit of being an asshole. But remember, I read that. People can be black and gay and disabled and trans and middle class. Blackness is expansive. It doesn't look one way. Keep this in mind. Okay, but once again, this is not something exclusive to white people interacting with black people. Just saying, when we talk about race, we're not just talking about men. Repeat after me. Intersections of race and gender exist. Now we're starting to lose a little bit of understanding because now you're just coming up with anything. Now look, if you're high and you come up with a bunch of things for an article, cool. But Jesus, now you're starting to lose a little bit of the credibility. You know what I'm saying? Remember that it is black women, the most disrespected group in American history, and Native women and mixed race women who are most likely to be, in their lifetimes in America. You cannot be an advocate against sexual violence without considering the impact of race. How we go from, we make a little bit of sense, then we lose it, and now we lose it while trying to make it all make sense. Do you think they get paid for these silly articles? Some do. Not much, but some do. I think it depends on your pecking order. Sorry, I blew my nose. Sorry, I blew my nose again. Did the writer just accidentally diss black women and mixed race women? Bro's yapping without thinking. Hey, chill. You might be right. Don't ask black women if it's our real hair, and don't judge black women for wearing wigs or weaves or having relaxers. Again, something a lot of people could do. Don't touch our fucking hair. Again, I think that's what everybody should do. If you have a black girlfriend, please make sure that your shower is always adequately stocked with conditioner, never that 2-in-1 stuff. We beg you. First of all, if you have a black girlfriend, I would think there's a little bit of time dedicated to before you invite them into your shower, unless you're some kinkiness, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of kinkiness could go in that, but Make sure this is somebody you want to have in your shower before they start, pissing where you shower. Some people do that. Never try to pull an uninvited race play shit in the bedroom. Seriously, what the fuck? I mean, kinks are kinks, but again, this could be applied to everybody. Actively try to identify and unsubscribe from Orientalist tropes, i.e. believing that East Asian women are naturally more submissive or docile. People of color are people, not characters. You hear that, red pill men? These are people of color, not your objects for your fantasies. If you call women of color exotic, you deserve to stub your toe in every day for a year. Do not do this. I mean, if you're exotic, you're exotic. I don't know how we're dictating this as an insult, but again, we're at the 50 mark. We're halfway, and I'm not seeing anything that you could just exclusively put on white people. You could put this on anybody. Also saying, I've never fucked a black, Asian, or native, etc. person to someone you're trying to hook up with is one-way ticket to hell. I agree. Saying that out loud is a yikes move. If you have such fetishistic thoughts, just don't even bother coming near a person of color. Remember that having mixed race children is not a cure for racism or a way to live out your weird racial fantasies. I can't tell because there are some people who will have a baby and prop the baby up and say things like, oh, it's a gay baby, and the baby has no form of coherent thought whatsoever. So, again, something that you could apply to everybody. Do we see the theme that we're getting into here? If you're trying to start a mixed race family, sit down and deeply interrogate your intentions. I don't know, to have a family. If you do have a mixed race child or children, make sure that they have access to people who look like them and who understand their experiences. I would hope that that would be extended family, you know what I'm saying? People that know of them, that share blood with them, and not just some random strangers on the street, because I would not trust random stranger on the street. I don't care if they're sharing my skin color. You might kidnap my child. If you have a partner of color or children of color, trust and believe that you could still be racist. You're not exempt. If anything, you have even more of a duty to examine your behavior for the benefit of your loved ones. That could be true if we circle back to that cop who married a black woman but was hurling slurs at another black woman. Could be true. But again, something you could sit there and break down is something everybody could do. You know what I'm saying? Take your racist family members to task for the shit they say over the dinner table or via social media. Confront your colleagues who say racist shit unchecked at work. Why is this two different things and not just all under one umbrella? Look around your workplace. Are the only people of color cleaners or assistants? What can you do to change that? The answer is almost never nothing. I don't know how to break it to whoever wrote this list. I'm not scrolling back up to see. You do realize those people applied for that job to clean or be assistants or to cook. That's not something anyone else can do. That's something they chose to apply for, whether it meets the specifications of what they want to do or it's something they kind of have to do to make ends meet. That is not something anyone else can do. You cannot pluck the janitor out of thin air and say, we're going to put you in a corporate position, buddy. That will lead to financial ruin of biblical proportions that many of you don't seem to understand because you live in this bubble of thinking, hey, anyone could work at a 401k and be absolutely great at the job. That's not how that works. You have to apply for the job. You plebeians who seemingly don't know anything about business. That's why pink sauce exists, because stupid people with stupid ideas seemingly enjoy themselves. If someone asks you to fill a role that you think a person of color would be better suited for, recommend a talented person of color who you know and forego the position yourself. Again, something that could be applied to everybody. And if you're gonna be fucking honest with yourselves, what is a job specifically favoring a person of color? A little bit confused here. What's that? What's that? What's a job specific for a person of color, or that you think would be something better suited for a person of color? Because you just sat there and said that if you see someone who is working as an assistant or a cleaner, you should do something to change that. You know what I'm saying? But you double speak by saying, oh, well, you know, if you see a job opening that you think a black person could be suited for, recommend them. Maybe they're qualified, maybe they're not. Don't make us de facto diversity. Don't make us be the de facto diversity guy at work, or at least pay us extra to do the labor of diversifying the workplace. Absolutely not. Hard disagree. Just because you're the one black guy or black girl there does not mean you should be paid extra. Sorry, you're paid to do your job. If you do your job a little bit better than everybody else, maybe you get a raise, because I've been in a position where I got paid more than my coworkers, not because I'm black, but because I'm better than my coworkers, and I'm proud of that fact, and I flaunt that fact everywhere. I do not want to be paid extra just because I work in a building with 30 white people and they decided Martin Luther King's lookalike should be in the room. Refuse to speak on an all-white panel regardless of the topic. Well, I think that's for black people to really do, because, you know, there are a lot of black people who want to speak on all-white panels to bring a little bit of that diversity in the room, but all right. If there are only a couple of people of color in your seminar, don't weirdly stare at them when the lecturer poses questions about race and expect them to answer everything. This is a weird TikTok-esque trend that really does not hold any real weight outside of TikTok and the weird fantasizations of how long you want to exist in the world. If you're in charge of making curricula, make sure there is work by people of color, especially women of color, on the reading list, and not just in the weeks dedicated to race. So essentially, make sure if you're in economics class, you give a lecture that was inspired by a person of color. And don't just wait for Black History Month to come up and say, hello, my Ghanaian brothers, let us enjoy our time together and learn about money from black people. Because of course, commission black people to make work about race. Commission people of color to make work that has nothing to do with race. Huh? It seems like these could have been with each other. Don't say things like there are two sides to every story, or play devil's advocate when it comes to conversations about race. Hard disagree, because sometimes black person is in the wrong, and there are two sides to every story. Not every story. Some stories are just as blatant as a simple 1, 2, 3, that which is what leads to 4. But you cannot sit there and say, oh, well, you're being racist because you're playing two sides of the story. You should listen to me. Sorry. Sometimes black person is in the wrong and they deserve to be criticized for that wrong. I know you don't want to hear it, but often reality that you have to face. Wait a minute. Again, this is one that could have been with the last one. 68, in those situations, just listen. That is a problem, because a black person has the ability to lie just like a white person. Oh my God, what a concept. It is never useful to say stuff like, but what about the white working class? Have you thought about the non-white working class people's needs? No, nobody really actually cares, because they just want to grandstand and complain and make it an issue when they deem it a necessary issue. Don't, okay, this is going to give me a stroke. Don't, vote, for, racist, politicians, Can't believe I need to say this one, but it seems like possibly maybe some of y'all did not get this memo. Gonna be honest, this could be applied to black people. You know, because I don't know how, still to this day, people voted for a guy who told them, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. But seems like that is revisionist history to some people. Research your candidates. Who has progressive policies that won't needlessly criminalize people of color? Vote for them. Again, you know what? I already said what I had to say about that. Remember that black women are not here to save you from yourselves. You got to put in the work too. Be cognizant of how your whiteness could be weaponized against black people, i.e. white women. Don't play into stereotypes about black men being inherently threatening to you. It gets black men killed. See Emmett Till. Use your white privilege to be on the front line between people of color and the police at protests. You are much less risk than us. I could have sworn there was an earlier segment about not really indoctrinating or speaking about yourself and bringing up all these instances, yet you should go potentially take a bullet for the black people. Record police encounters you see involving black people. Again, this directly puts a monkey wrench into the earlier sentiments of being involved in black issues. Share alerts when ICE is planning a raid. Stand up to Islamophobia wherever you see it. If you have ever thought a phrase like Black Lives Matter is too assertive, consider why you're so uncomfortable with black people standing up for humanity. Well, if I could, black person, come in and just say why I hate Black Lives Matter, the words and the organization. I'll start with the words. It is words that seemingly only are for the black individuals who die at the hands of a criteria. Ergo, all black lives really don't matter. Only certain ones do. So, if you're a black guy and you get taken out by a white cop, Black Lives Matter. We are off to the races. But if you are a black guy and you just so happen to lose your life at the hands of a black guy, yeah, we're going to talk about it, but we're not going to be out in the streets demanding any form of justice. And as it relates to the organization, we all know, organization that peddled a lot of money in, called it white guilt money, and then decided to say, hey, we're going to use that money for ourselves. And we're not really going to better the black community. All these broken roads, all these low-income communities. No. We want to buy mansions. We want to have Biden inauguration parties. We want to have fun times for ourselves while everybody else, no. We can't do anything about that, which is why you should support the real Black Lives Matter, which is bringing Leon the money. Because I would dedicate my time to making sure that everybody knows the good word of BLM, not Black Lives Matter, but bringing Leon the money. Because if everybody else could scam and use dead bodies as their scam, I could at least be honest and open and say, I'm going to use your money to buy Cheez-Its and throw them into the Riviera because Cheez-Its suck. Long-winded essay, treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Yes. I don't even know what number I'm on. I see Get Out as a reference, but here we go. Hold on. Gotta let y'all hear my nose blowing technique. Buy a new chair. Why? Chair's fine. Cheez-Its are terrible. I'm not getting in this conversation with you people. Listen when black people say I'm not comfortable in this situation. You've seen Get Out, haven't you? Again, listen when black people say I'm not comfortable in this situation. You've seen Get Out, haven't you? If you haven't seen Get Out, watch Get Out. Understand that everyday horror is real. Question whether you have double standards when it comes to drugs. Do you think it's cool when white weed entrepreneurs make tons of money, but think that black people who are found to have traces of marijuana in their systems deserve to be thrown to prison? Don't have dreadlocks if you're not black. Just don't. Beyond being offensive, it's just not suited for your hair type. Do literally anything else with your hair because, of course, you can't be a part of black culture. Only black people could be a part of black and everybody else's culture. Don't refer to things as your spirit animal if you're not native. There are other ways to express affinity with something. Tell that to the women who are black that like to use their zodiac signs as the reason why they're a piece of shit. Do not compare the exploitation of animals to
New donation
racism
from
ever.
Bring
I'm
Leon the
deadly
Money.
serious. They're talking to you, Peter. I can't believe I even need to say this in 2018, but here we go. Don't wear blackface. Don't even think about saying the N-word even if you're alone, even if you're listening to rap, even if you're alone listening to rap. Similarly, don't use the words, I believe, gypsy or pokey or redskin or any other racial slur, even if you're repeating what someone else said or reading from a text. That includes word. We immediately go into hypocritical territory when you say that includes words like colored, person of color. Colored are not the same. Trust me. So why are there people who are black and other colors referring to themselves as people of color? It's offensive. I am not a person of color. I'm black. I refer to myself as such. I do not want to be called person of color. It's a little bit tasteless and tad bit disrespectful. Understand that America has what it has because it stole land from indigenous people and stole people from Africa. Care about race on the 364 days that aren't Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I would want to agree with that if it wasn't for a bunch of people who like to promote caring about black people and black businesses only during February. But unless we are ready to have that conversation, people are only going to care on one day, just like you only care for 28 days. Also, don't whitewash his legacy and use it to argue that black people should just take what they're given lying down. I don't think black people should take what they're given lying down, but I do remember a famous quote about not judging people based on their skin, but by the content of character, and I feel as though this list with 100 ways for white people to somehow be better, and all of them are a little bit comical, you are judging people based on their race and not the content of their character. Think about how race is operating even when people of color aren't around. Be cognizant of it wherever you are. Whichever the situation you're in, people of color have to, so should you. Not really, because if it ain't my problem, I don't know why I would think about it being someone else's problem, but that's just me being a casual human being. Remember that your queerness, womanhood, transness, class, background, disability doesn't exclude you from white privilege. How dare you? I'm a victim and I'm marginalized. Because guess what? Even when I'm a trans woman who just so happens to be white, I can't beat the privilege that I have deep inside because I'll still have more advantages than the black trans woman. Make your feminism useful to all women rather than calling yourself an intersectional feminist. Show, don't tell. Don't assume, full stop, that you can understand what it's like to experience racism. You can't. That's the whole point. Well, in this day and age in 2023, you do have people coming up with tier lists for slurs that they could call for white people. So, maybe they can. Understand that nothing in your life has been untouched by your whiteness. Everything you have would have been harder to come by if you had not been born white. There are some crack-headed, homeless white people that beg to differ. Be grateful for the lesson. When you're called out on racism, getting defensive won't help. I would argue if you're sitting there not doing anything and you're being called racist, you should defend yourself, because being called racist from some aggro who's running around screaming to the ether is not really something anyone wants to enjoy. Move past your white guilt. Guilt is an unproductive emotion. Don't sit there mirrored in woe. Just be better. Oh, be better, but don't defend yourself when a random person calls you a racist. Okay, cool. Recognize that fighting racism isn't about you. It's not about your feelings. It's about liberating people of color from a world that tries to crush us at every turn. And number 100, remember, being an ally is a verb, not a noun. You can't just magically be an ally to people of color because you say you're one of them. It is something that you must continuously work on, because in the world of 2018 and 2023, you live in this bubble where you have to be a white savior. You have to sit there, you have to learn, you have to listen, you have to be a part of the situation, but you can't ask questions, you can't defend yourself, you can't really speak up or want more information. You should just go do more research, because fucking doublespeak exists in this moronic concept. I'm sorry, but the entire list, while you could shake your hand and nod just a little bit, is something not just for the white people. I know we've been here for at least like 30 minutes, but it's not something just for the white people. It's for the black men, for the black women, for the Asians, for the Chinese, the Japanese, the queers, the trans, the gays. It don't matter. It's there for everybody. To sit there and try to think it's just for the white people, because the white people are the only other people on this planet who are evil and layered in bigotry, and they should be ashamed of themselves, is fucking moronic. And the fact that this exists in the here and now in 2023, and it's something that Vice wanted to promote during a time of being thankful and trying to punch a couple of old women for 30% off on a microwave at Walmart, is sickening. But you'll look at me and say I'm the problem, because how dare I criticize a moronic list of idiotic talking points that are directly contradicting themselves as you go further into the list. But fuck it, I guess I'm the problem and not somebody making a mountain out of an egregious molehill. Oi! Oi, 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 oi! Jesus. Chips and crackers. Chips and crackers. My God. Pull this back. What did you call me, Leon? I called you a chip. Oh. I'm out of breath. Didn't know Leon was cooking. I mean, I'm not cooking. There's no heat in here. No steam, sense of gratification. That's all. Are you British now? I could be. I could be. That was a long list. It was. Honestly, I thought I'd be here longer. I truly thought I'd be here just a little bit. I thought there'd be some paragraphs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Favorite anime? Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan. Gotta be honest with you. This shit is 5 years old. That's because the points don't hold proper weight. They actively contradict themselves as the list goes on. The best part of the stream is watching how animated you are live. Yeah, usually I'm in a animated setting while recording. But you know what? I told myself I could stream this and it could be fun. I think it's been an hour and 9 minutes. It has been an hour, 10 minutes, and 17 seconds. Hold on, I got a text message. Has Leon ever watched Black Lagoon? He'll forget about Attack on Titan? Nope. I will never forget about Attack on Titan. Black Lagoon is ass. I ain't lie, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. I have not watched One Piece a day in my life. The only anime I could fucking consider that was like egregiously long that I've watched like front to end and went back to watch front and end would be Inuyasha. That would be the only one. What happened to Bald and Sexy? We just haven't done it. That's really it. What, y'all want to ask me questions now? Go ahead. Like that's really it. We just haven't done it. we just haven't done it. Be honest with you. It took me back to high school with Inuyasha. I mean, I started watching Inuyasha drastically late. Not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie to you, I was watching Inuyasha drastically late. Like freshman year of college late, and that was in 2017. But watched it, enjoyed it. I even watched the sequel or the spinoff with Shishomaru's daughters. You know? That was good. That was good. It's good work. What about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Never watched it. Never watched it. What is this, anime hour now? What's Inuyasha? It's a cartoon or anime for you plebeians that'll get mad that I called it a cartoon, but it's a cartoon about a high school girl jumping into a well and going back in time to like a feudal era of Japan where she meets a half dog, half human, half demon with a big sword, and they argue with each other. There's a pervert in the group who likes to rub on anyone's ass. There's a badass woman who likes the pervert rubbing on her ass. There's a giant cat demon. There's a fox demon who's a little child. And they just go on adventures. Oh, and the pervert who likes to rub ass has like a hole in his hand. So insert any sexual joke you can do with that. And he likes to suck up a bunch of shit. And they call it, what do they call it? A wind tunnel? Again, insert any sexual joke you want with that. Ugh. You know what anime sucks? Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho is fucking terrible. From the animation to the story, fucking garbage. Oh, Mob Psycho fucking sucks. Did you hear that, PG? Sonic X is also a fucking great anime. Yeah, most of you wouldn't know that was an anime because you watched it on fucking 4Kids like I did. But Sonic X is a great fucking anime. Especially the dub. Now, I know dub gets a lot of bad rap, but I hearken any of you, if you've never seen Sonic X, please watch the dub. It's fucking, matter of fact, for a moment, I want to show you the greatest dub in anime history. What is it? It's not Pokemon, and it's not Sonic related. Anyone who's watched anime for a long fucking time, you know what I'm about to play. You know. Somebody guessed it. Somebody got it right. I ain't saying who.
Since I am your favorite among these heathens, you are pathetic.
When he died, I was so sad that I would never hear that voice again. His laugh. His funny little requests.
Touch me.
His reprimands.
Touch me harder.
Shirotabi, please forgive me for bringing you back to life. I know now that it could never work between us. As much as we wanted to, it could never be. Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
The greatest fucking shit of all time. That is why dub is amazing. It's terrible when it's taken seriously. But when it's stupid, it's fucking hilarious. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat it. When dub is taken seriously, it's automatically boring. But when it's that stupid, it's hilarious. It is. It just is. Think of a big wow. Had to circle around for that one. Hold on. I think there's one more. It won't be as funny as that one. It won't be as funny as that one. It's this.
Hey, can you guys hear anything? You know what I hear? I hear the sound of you shutting the fuck up. Let's see. 7? What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, bruh. Oh my god. All right. That's it. I'm out. We had fun today. I truly thought this would be longer. I thought I'd be here for 2 hours. But those are the only two things I wanted to talk about. And they will be made into videos on the streaming channel. Hey, we hit 4,080. We're on the path, children. We're on the path to 5,000. And we're going to get there in due time and indubitably. And remember, everybody, make sure on your way out, tell Peachy that Mob Psycho sucks. Goodbye.